I like what this is like turning out to be. It's kind of like a vlog type thing, but like lessons here and there. And I think once I start like doing a little more traveling and become a little more mobile, I'll be able to do it in like different places and stuff. And I think, yeah, I'm feeling this. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little update, a little check-in real quick. What's happened? What's going on? I've been going through the coaching program, and one of the things that I got to is the content portion. And he's trying to help creators become more articulate and not do so many like ums and ahs and like, see, and I just did it again. I'm trying to get better at that. So that means I need to start slowing down and giving myself more time to think and let the thoughts come instead of rushing. Because I think that's what it comes down to, is that a lot of the filler words, the ums, the ahs, the likes, the ands, all that stuff, a lot of that comes from us trying to speak faster than our brain can process. I'm just guessing. I have not done any research on this. I don't know if this is a fact or not. This is just what I'm assuming. Did it again. I like that. Yeah. So, but basically, like I was saying, I think it's because we try to speak faster than our brain can process. So we fill those spaces with ums and ahs and likes. So what I'm going to work on doing is slowing down and taking time to pause in between thoughts. So there's not so many ums and filler words, and I don't have to keep restarting and saying things over, stuff like that, which will help not only with me speaking and becoming more comfortable speaking coherently, but it will also help with the editing process, help speed that up. So we'll see, I caught myself that time. I was about to do it. So let's see. I gotta go. I'm about to eat, but I just wanted to record this real quick. So going through the course, there's so much that I'm taking from it and kind of like flipping it and adding in my own twist and figuring out how to apply it to being a creator, being a content creator, entrepreneur, and how I can use it to help people in my coaching program. So lots of good information there. So much good shit. Shout out to Charlie, man. Charlie is one of like, I can't wait to like talk to him, like interview, talk to him, whatever. However we end up crossing paths, we're going to converse at some point, and I'm very excited about that. Just to like pick his brain and figure out like how his thinking works, because the way he is able to speak about a topic, and I know a lot of it just comes from like repetition and studying and learning and pushing yourself out of your boundaries, but it's a skill to be able to take something that you've learned and redistribute it and put it back out for other people to consume, and they're able to understand it too. I think it was Einstein that said, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't really understand it. I think that's a great way to look at content and being an authority and building your brand. Like, if what you're talking about, if you don't understand it, if you can't break it down to like simple terms to like where a kid can understand it, you might need to do some more research. You might need to study some more to make sure you really have that deep understanding that you think you. And sometimes that comes with not just studying your industry or your niche, but also studying other things, adjacent things that you enjoy, so that you can create relationships and bridge connections and create metaphors. There was this clip we were shooting for a podcast, and there was a question. We were doing like just random ass questions and shit, right? So there's a question somebody asked: if fish breathe underwater, how come they come up for air? Or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but I remember I Googled it and I looked it up. I kind of understood understood why they did it, and we were discussing it, and I was trying to explain it to the guys, and I was like, basically, when a fish comes up for air, there's air in the water. Like, the way fish breathes, they take the air from the water, right? Water is made of part oxygen, so they take the oxygen from the water and it filters like through their gills, and that goes into the lungs or whatever, right? But sometimes if the water isn't oxygen rich, if there's not enough oxygen in it, they have to go up for air. And I basically explained it like, being underwater, fish can breathe, but sometimes they need to go up for air. It's kind of like if you have asthma and you need to hit your inhalers. Like, you can still breathe in the air, but it's just like you're not getting enough. So that the pump albuterol or whatever, it gives you that extra air. And that's kind of like why fish go up to get air from the surface, or they'll eat the bubbles that has the air in it to get more air. So I said that, like, I kind of explained like the asthma analogy, and they were just like, I get it. Okay. You should be looking to create moments like that with your content and with the stuff that you're teaching or talking about. Being able to bridge a connection and bridge that gap for somebody, it releases dopamine, right? And if somebody relates you to dopamine and like having a good feeling and learning and walking away with something of value, they're going to be more likely to come back and watch more of your content. Man, that was good. I think I liked it. That I am also in the process of finishing up my outreach system. It's funny because I was talking to Ursula a couple weeks ago. She hit me up to get on me about my content, and I told her I was working on the system, and she was just like, oh, you ahead of the game, you on some next level shit. And I didn't really think about it, but like, now that I'm looking at it and I'm really understanding what I'm going to be able to do with it and how effective it can be, I'm like, yo, this is very exciting. Like being an entrepreneur, with like business owner, content creator, when you figure out some shit, when you unlock some shit, when you find a way to bridge that gap and you figure something out, it's like, yo, you get like this real rush, this excitement. And low key, I think chasing that, having that as part of your like your motivation or like your driving force is a really sustainable way to look at like your career, like your entrepreneurship. You should be chasing like the knowledge, chasing the next level, and those things that you figure out along the way. And it's just like, oh shit, now I can see like these new connections. Because as you start to get more connections, you start to bridge all these gaps. How do I say this? It gives you the chance to find other ways they connect. It's all about connection. It's like a big ass web. If you've seen the new Spider-Man movie, it's like a big web of like interconnected shit. It's like figuring out how this information pertains to this information or how I can cross it. One of the biggest things I've taken just like from this content section of the coaching program is looking at everything through the lens of how can I turn this into valuable content. Like when you're able to take your past experiences, stories, movies that you've watched, just life, just day-to-day life, anything, any experience that you have, anything, any information that you take, looking at it through the lens of how can I turn this into content? How can I make this into a content idea is really going to push you to become a really great creator, because you'll start to you start to connect these dots that you never would have saw before and you never would have thought to connect. But once you have an understanding of it, it's like, oh, I can explain it like this. I don't know. It's something cool about that. I think, yeah, that's one of the dopest things I've kind of picked up and figured out along the way. And in order to really like get to that point to where you can have those aha moments and make those connections, you have to continuously be reading. You have to continuously be learning. You have to continuously be expanding your mind and taking in new information and new concepts and new content. If you're just constantly watching the same trash TV, the like scrolling your timeline, like just absorbing mindless content, like you're hurting yourself a lot more than you're helping yourself. Because as you take in new information, taking in new concepts, like that's causing you to grow and expand. That's building you up. If you're not growing and expanding, then essentially you're dying, because you're not growing. When you stop growing, you die. Like that's just how it works. And there's so much information and so much different stuff you can just absorb out here. A lot of people choose to spend their time absorbing mindless stuff and stuff that doesn't really challenge you or doesn't really help you grow or doesn't give you any like type of new information. And a lot of this, with this in particular, it's a little more difficult because it's just off the top of the head. It'd be different if I did like a little research or prep or made an outline going into this. But with these videos, since they're off the top of the head, all of my ideas don't always connect, or I don't always know how to bridge those gaps. So it forces me to get better and forces me to kind of look at what I'm doing and what I'm saying and figure out how I can make it easier to digest and easier to understand, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's really, I don't know. I don't really have much to say today. I just want to check in because I ain't made a video in a minute, it feels like. But yeah, coaching program, working on that. I'm almost done with my outreach system that I'm setting up. So basically, I'm gonna be doing cold DM. I know a lot of people do the cold DMs that you would think that that they don't work, but they actually really do. I've talked to a few people. I've hit up a few business owners, and I have an actual system that in place like that's gonna really help with not just the outreach, but the follow-ups and being consistent and staying on top of it. So that's gonna be like a huge game changer. So I'm really just getting that into place. So I'm gonna focus on that one form of outbound. In the coaching program, say we should do 2 forms, but that's gonna be my main focus for right now, just because it checks off all the criteria I need for my niche. It's easy for me to find them. It's easy for me to do it at scale. And eventually, if I need to outsource it, it's easy to do that too. Some of the other systems, the cold email, the cold calling, those are cool. But with the cold calling, it's harder to find my clients just because a lot of the people I'm going to be working with, they're business owners, but they don't have a brick and mortar. They don't have a building that you can go to. So trying to find them and be able to call them up just like a cold call to be a little harder. I could do emailing, but the system to set that up it costs more. It costs money. 1, 2, it's a little more complicated. Not really, but just getting everything set up with you got to buy domains and get different Google accounts set up. I'll do all that eventually, but right now I'm just focused on this one and use that as my main source of outbound marketing, outbound DMing, whatever. And then I'm going to combine that with my inbound, with my content, just basically building up my YouTube and the content that comes from that, and just building up my content overall, like using that as inbound marketing through like brand awareness, tips and tricks, stuff like that. But those two combined, I think, are going to be really powerful. Outbound on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, just cold DMing people, and then having videos coming out consistently. This is going to be part of that content strategy. These series, these videos, whatever, turning this into a series so that it's something that's consistent. People are going to look forward to it coming out. Then thinking, because I'm going to do like 3 videos a week, this will be one of the videos. Then like some type of walkthrough on a laptop, either a program or something that needs to be demonstrated it visually or helps having a visual element to it. And then one more. I'm not sure what that last one is going to be. Yeah, I don't know what that last one's going to be, but we'll figure it out. This is just all a journey. This is all just work in progress. Like I said, I just started editing the first videos, and I'm looking at some of the stuff I was saying, what I was thinking about doing, what I was thinking at that time. I'm just like, yo, so much changes in the matter of a month or 2 months. Like, just so much. You have these ideas, and they're like quick spurts where you think, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I want to attack this. And then 2 weeks down the line, you figure something out. It's like, well, nope, that's out the window now. I'm not doing that anymore. With this whole journal series, this was supposed to be daily. Then I realized, like, there's no way I'm going to be doing this daily. There's not enough happening. There's not enough for me to, like, it doesn't make sense for me to do it every day. But doing it like at least 2 to 3 times a week, maybe, if even that, maybe I only really need 4 months technically to have it consistent. So yeah, I don't know. But I want to have it to where I'm doing it regularly so that it's part of the routine, because the more routines I have in place, the more systems I have in place, the more effective and more productive I am. So definitely I'm going to go through. That's one of the next things on my to-do list is actually to go through and literally step-by-step systems, like everything in place, from creating the content, from having the ideas, everything, to flushing them out, recording, uploaded, promo, the newsletter, like just having the complete system broken down from beginning to end. I think that's just going to be really powerful for me to see that and have that in front of me, so that it's like, okay, I'm here. Like, I don't know. I'm so happy that I've really started to understand systems and started figuring out how systems and processes work, because that is like such a lifesaver. It's such a necessary part of this journey, this content, entrepreneurship, like having systems in place, having processes in place, like literally like step by step, you know exactly what you need to do and what comes next. It makes such a difference. It makes such a big difference. But yeah, that's all. Just a quick check-in, nothing crazy. Make sure y'all come back next week for the next one. So yeah, see you off, gang.